Hey guys, so we're here at the Singapore Smash now. We're joined by a legend from Germany, Dang Qiu, European champion. Great to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
So you've just finished practice in the training hall. How was that?
I mean, it's not my first practice here. It's not the first practice between matches in the tournament. At some point, it's quite basic. It's just the routines, and then you follow it.
Just to maintain kind of your sharpness and being ready, yeah?
Exactly. You do something for the body, but also for the head that you say, okay, you practice, it's fine, you can keep going.
Yeah, because sometimes in these events, you kind of got to like pace yourself, right? Like obviously your aim is to be here long into the event and play a lot of games, so you don't want to kind of go too aggressive in training, I guess, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, this is maybe something I had to learn over the time of my career, over many experience. I mean, when I was younger, maybe I could practice also more without having some issues with power or stamina, but now I focus more for the matches, like you said. I think it's not, if you're in the tournament, it's not about improving your game, it's just like keeping your shape, like you say, to be fresh or sharp.
Yeah. And what would you do like differently? I mean, here training at an event compared to your training back home? Obviously, back home when you're training normally you'd be focused more on like improvement, I guess, like you say. But here, what would you do differently just to stay relaxed, fresh?
I mean, the biggest difference is the time. I mean, in my home in Düsseldorf, we are used to much longer sessions. We will practice much longer. Here, I try to play as little as possible, that I say, okay, it's enough. But it's also not too much, so I can keep my fitness. Also, it's with the jet lag, and this hall is quite humid here, so you sweat much more. I think these are all stuff you have to consider. Also, there are much more players, much more disturbances, let's say like this. So you get much more tired than you think you will get. So I think even the shorter amount of practice is like equal to if you practice long at home in your used area.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, Dang, you mentioned Düsseldorf there, so that's where you train, and you've been there for many, many years. I want to know a little bit about when you really started to take the leap to the next level, to be like top world-class player. How long was you at Düsseldorf for? When did you think the turning point was for you? Because I know that you were training for many, many years and putting in a lot of reps, but then I feel like the last 5 years or so, you've just took a huge different level. You've jumped up.
I mean, it's difficult to say an exact point or a turning point or an event. I think it's just the consistency of the practice, like you said, also the consistency of going to the tournaments to try to play. And at some point I felt like, okay, I'm improving bit by bit. I'm learning bit by bit. It's also important. And then somehow I found my level, or let's say I'm still hoping I can improve, or I am improving hopefully, and I still want to keep going. And but it's tough for any player to say, okay, this was the moment. I mean, we have many now. When you look at the rankings, or if you look at the tournaments, every tournament there's one exceptional player, like under 18 for sure. He's killing everybody. He's reaching semifinals, finals, and it can be anybody at some point because they are so good and coming so fast now. So you have to see over the long run, and I think many players have the level.
We're seeing that Julian Chirita here had 2 fantastic wins, Christian Colson, Darko Jorgic. What do you think is different now in terms of why are there so many good players coming through the system? Because when we're looking at the draw now, we're like, wow, like from the last 64, actually the qualifications.
Hard to predict.
Every single match is so insane. You see Jonathan Groff, he's already out, and it's like he's 25 in the world. And it's just there's so many players now. Yes. The depth is really good.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, the depth is crazy. I think if you, like people said this before, like, players from, I don't know, 29 to 200 are the same, but you cannot say it like that, but like anybody can play now. It's every match is tight. Also, it's best of 5, so it's even more tight. It's getting tighter. Also, I think the professionalism in our sport is growing so much. Like the videos you have online, like your content you guys create, or in general YouTube. If you want to learn, I said this many times already. If you want to learn something, you just go to YouTube. You see backhand, let's say backhand flip. Then you can watch left or right. You can choose anything, footwork, forehand. You can choose so many examples of the top players. You just go on YouTube and you search the player you like the most and you just copy it.
Hey, I'm not going crazy. I said this recently.
No, you did.
Who was we with? I did call that, didn't I?
You actually say about anything you want to learn. Forget table tennis. Anything in the world. You want to go to YouTube, right?
Change your battery in your car or whatever it is.
Anything.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And so I think so kids younger are getting exposed to seeing how to do something earlier on, so that, you know what I mean? Like when I was younger, we discussed this already in another podcast, but you know, you didn't see much at all. Like there was no YouTube. I had to watch a videotape of the same player, like Samsonov maybe, Samsonov world class, but like that's the only thing you're seeing maybe. And now, like you said, everything. You can watch Dang Qiu training on YouTube. Fantastic. Everything.
Like we've spoken to obviously a lot of pro players on the podcast, and is that something you actively do? Because a lot of players have said, you know, obviously you want to keep learning, you want to keep improving your game even at your level, and sort of like taking bits and pieces from other players, maybe like, oh look, he's doing this with his return really well, or maybe something with his serve, could be anything, but like taking parts from others in a way.
Of course, when I was younger, I did it like almost daily. Like I tried to learn from the best. Back then, in my eyes, many Chinese players. Also, for me, it's special. I'm a penholder player, so for me, there's just a handful of players that I can learn from. Let's say, because the grip is not so well often played, especially with the reverse backhand.
True.
But I watched a lot of videos from Xu Ma Lin, Wang Hao, obviously, and also now it's Felix, or before Wang Junting also, like the players I all watch, like to see how they are gripping the racket, how they are playing, how they are moving. And I think you can never learn. You can never stop to learn.
Learning. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What actually got you choosing the pen grip at the start? Because, you know, so many players are using shakehand.
Yeah, it was a simple story. I started with shakehand also. I played a half year with that.
Wow.
I couldn't play backhand because of the handle. It always kept hitting my wrist. And back then, this was the time when Wang Hao was very good. And he was on the uprising. And my father just said, out of fun, come, let's try penholder. And as a young kid, somehow, like, then your wrist is free, and I could just play like this, and probably he thought it's cute or whatever. And he just said, okay, you stick with penholder. Anyway, you don't know how the road will go, so I just stick with penholder.
Wow. What age were you then when you started? Like, what was that sort of?
Around 6 or 7.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And you're obviously in the German camp, like you guys have such a great team, you know, it's just so you're talking about like so many professional players, everything's getting more professional, but I feel like Germany have been pioneers, Japan and China. I think you guys obviously France now are storming, also Sweden. But yeah, what is it you guys do in Germany? Like such a good team there, which must help you a lot, you know, physio, everything like that, fitness.
Of course, I think, like you said, first of all, the players of our generations are just really strong. Starting from the generation from Rossi, when he started to play unbelievable results. I think he was one of the guys who made table tennis big in Germany. Then obviously Timo's generation era came, and then Dima. But within them, there were many more crazy good players like Christian Süß, Patrick Baum, Bastian Steger, who is still playing. Yeah. And of course, the younger generations are benefiting from that because you're practicing with them, you're learning from them, you see them, and the group is just very good. Like the competition is just very good. Like I forget for sure a lot of names to mention, but I think the growth for the younger players is much better, and the base is just there.
I mean, that's really good. You know, I guess in many countries now, they're going to have a good base as well when the new players come through. You know, and they're still going to have players chasing them, and that's just going to help push everyone around.
Talking of players in the practice hall, actually coaches, it must be pretty cool that you got Wang Hao and Ma Lin both hanging around the place, obviously both coaching for China now, so pretty impressive that, like, I always find it interesting, like China seem to have a real strong history of like pushing down their ex-players into that coaching route, or maybe not pushing is the wrong word, but you know what I mean?
Encouraging.
Yeah, encouraging.
Sure.
I mean, it's the right way. I mean, that's one of China's big secrets. I think they always can get the top players to stay somehow in the national team involved, even as maybe an advisor function or as the coach maybe is the best position. And then they just keep the knowledge and they pass it on.
True.
The guys who learn it, they learn it back. It's hopefully something like maybe Germany can also maintain. Yeah. And over the generations, you will still be one of the top nations of the sport. But yeah, many factors are important, but I think this is one way. This is great for them.
You actually make a good point, because like there's many factors that make China so strong for sure. But that maybe is a really big one, because let's take, for example, yourself, how much experience you're gathering over the last 10 years. You know, if you pass that to the next generation, you're going to cut out a lot of things that they can avoid because you already know the answer to, which is probably what Rossi's helping with you guys.
Of course, it's like it's kind of like a shortcut for the players. Like I made a lot of mistakes, and I can, like you said, I can prevent them from making them.
Yeah.
And maybe they can reach their goals faster or improve quicker. But at the end, it's also a big waste if, let's say, the players that are playing now, and if they end their career at some point and say, okay, I don't want to do something with table tennis anymore, just all the knowledge and the wisdom, it's just vanishing.
It's lost.
It's crazy, the knowledge they gained over the years. It would be a big waste, but of course, many factors, many salaries and whatever is coming. Maybe you want something different from table tennis because you spent all your life with it. I can understand it.
Yeah. I guess you've obviously been around Timo a lot. Has Timo been a big influence on your career and just learning from him as a teammate? And
yes, of course. Like I said before, also Dima, one of, for me, when I grew up, the two best players in Germany for sure. Always competing with the best, with the Chinese, the best, and by far. And of course, I learned a lot because if you spend the time in the training hall with them, even though he's not like a coach for me, but still you see how he's practicing, how focused they are, which intensity they give into practice, how professional they are. It's just things you don't actively you take on.
You kind of soak them up naturally by being in that environment.
Exactly.
Like,
you just copy it because if they don't speak, you also don't speak for sure. And then you just practice serious, and then at some point it's a routine, and you never will miss it.
That's what they say with anything, right? Like you want to surround yourself with the right people because naturally that's what you're going to start to then behave like. The people you're around the most is, if you're around people who are good with business and they're helping you and they're positive, that's going to rub off. So same with table tennis environment, right?
Absolutely. I mean, what is your training philosophy really in table tennis? Is it just like hard work, like just real hard work in the training hall, or do you have, some players like to play a feeling, like let's say Trolls is like trot blocks and stuff, but are you just like pushing yourself?
I think I would be more this type of guy to push myself. Like I'm maybe also a little bit old school. I feel like, okay, I have to be really tired after a session so I can call it a good session.
I love it.
But I think you have to change the thinking also. It's not just about, if I really want to be as tired as possible, I can also go run a marathon. But this is not the point of table tennis. But still, it's also important to, let's say, suffer. Then you can also improve. But also, like you said, for example, Trolls, with his game, he's also suffering a lot, and he's practicing hard and making his footwork, raising up his heartbeats and this stuff. But also he has crazy good feeling, and this is also a part of his game that is helping him so much in the game. And I think there are both ways, but it cannot be all just fun. There must be a part where it's hard. And
agreed. Yeah.
Easy, yeah.
Because I feel like in Germany, especially, I've been to Düsseldorf many times, and I go in there, and there's just so much focus in the hall. Just lots of just hard work. The mental side is good, and I think everyone from Germany developed a good mental mindset because the practice is quite focused. So it probably helps the mental.
It's like you said. I think the tension in general, you can if you go in, you can feel the atmosphere. It's not like you have a good time.
Yeah, you're not on holiday. Yeah,
you're definitely not. You're going dust off. You're like, ooh.
Also, the players that are coming for training camps, they're always like, "Wow, it's so hard and so serious." But I think if you go to China, it's even more hard, it's even more serious. You are afraid to say anything.
To blink, like.
But I think there's good and bad side, but in general, it's for sure good.
Yeah.
If I know it's hard to pinpoint, but you've picked up a lot of tips over the years and ways to train and things like that. For amateur players watching, what would be like your one key thing or one most important thing that can help them improve quickly? We're trying to be asking players that come on the podcast. If you could give one thing only.
I just recently talked with my coach about it. We were speaking about his past games and this kind of stuff, and he was saying, he always loses to this guy, somebody. And I said, okay, if let's say you lose to him like 3, 4, 5 or 6 times in a row, at some point you have to figure out, like in the practice, okay, how can I beat him now? you have to find a way, Yeah. And then I said to him, okay, then you just practice. Like he showed you all your weaknesses because you obviously lost every time to him, so you must have some weaknesses. You just practice them. And if you lose the next time with another reason, it's good. Then you practice this. And like I feel for amateur players, they also play a lot of competition or they have matches. And they can learn from every lose. Like, they know their weak points, and then they practice the weak points. Don't focus on like the things you already can.
Yeah,
sure.
And that's a really good point there, because a lot of players obviously they know they have to learn from losses, but actually that's a slightly different angle. Like if you've lost to one player 3 or 4 times, okay, what are they doing? What are they targeting in my game? Okay, let's say it's backhand flick, for example. Like I keep pushing short backhand, I missed a flick. Okay, it's my backhand flick, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or somebody has a good service, and but it's just one spin. and you can't return this spin.
Yeah.
And then you feel to yourself, okay, if I lose the next time, not because of this spin.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then you improved already.
It's like that's a good way as well, because a coach once told me, like, let's say you're doing a forehand topspin, it keeps going off the end. Okay, miss a different way, miss in the net. Like, it's a bit stupid, but it gets you thinking in this way. Like I like that way of
It's funny,
thinking.
right? I did a video once with Karanga, and I was like, "Hey, Karanga, teach me how to play your backhand." You know, he's swinging away, and I couldn't pull it on. He's like, you know, when I play a backhand, Dan, I think about hitting the net. He was saying that.
really?
He's like, I make sure my racket finishes at the net, and then
Interesting.
if I accelerate hard, it will go low and on. And I was like, wow, really? And I tried it, and it started going on. It's like just crazy, yeah, just like a different way. Because obviously I wasn't getting it on at all. He's like, yeah, just go to the net.
But yeah, sometimes a different way of thinking,
Yeah.
you know.
But dang, don't start hitting the backhand to the net though.
His backhand, he doesn't need any help with backhand. No.
You train a lot with Duda. Duda's improved a lot lately as well. He's out of nowhere over the last year. And again, like he to me seems like a real hard worker as well. He's putting a lot of work over the years and a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I mean, Duda is one of my best friends. We've spent so much time, especially on tournaments. We are like all the time together. We are almost having every meal together. We are practicing a lot, and the day between the matches and everything, we are traveling also a lot. So I know him. He's working crazy much. Like as we talk now, he's in the gym and doing his reps.
Really?
Yeah. And he's everything that comes to him, he deserves. And the results he had last year were amazing. I mean, this is also something like the hard work over the year paid off. Like it's paying off anyway. But he had great results last year now at the end of the year, and I think he's keep improving. For sure.
He got right to the final of the Europeans. I mean, almost won it. I mean, just going back to you, obviously being European champion before, was that ever something, you know, we talked about you coming through and making that breakthrough. Obviously it was over a period of time. Is it ever something you thought, like when you were improving, like I could be European champion? Was something you dreamed about, something you ever thought could happen?
Actually, the crazy thing about my European championship title was this was my first participation in a singles event. So
wow, yeah,
like,
I forgot.
But I was seeded at 4th. So I was seeded in singles 4, and I said, okay, like I know my level, I can play, but I didn't thought like, okay, I will win the tournament because it's still my first Europeans. I'm seeded at 4, and I think, okay, there are like so strong players out there. And then it just kept going. Like I didn't think too much, and suddenly I was in the quarters against Timo. Then I played against Matthias Falk in the semis, and then I was in the final against Darko. I said, okay, come on, it's not so far anymore.
Yeah, one match, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's tough to say. Like it was crazy for me. These moments, these memories. Yeah.
But sometimes this is the best, right? Where you don't have this kind of extra pressure. Like, okay, I expect to win. I expect to go semi-final, whatever. You just play. You're not overthinking, and this is when you can sometimes find the level, your best level. You know.
Yes. Okay. Also, during this time, I had a good period. So for me, like I anyway had good confidence already. I won the German national champion for the first time. I won Lima like a few months ago, and like I had many tournament victories during that time. And then it
confidence
was
high and
exactly. It was just good.
Yeah, really good.
For sure. You say it's your first Europeans. Is that because the German team already had many players beforehand when the event was on, so you didn't get selected, or?
Yeah, like the last one was before Tokyo because of Corona. It was in Warsaw. 2021 and like as you said before, we have a crazy depth.
Well, that's what shows the depth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you go in first time and win it.
And I was like 40 or 50 in the world at this point, and I was still the number 6 of Germany. So you can only put 5 singles player, and I was like number 6 with 50 or something. Also, I was young there, and I was like, come on, like what I have to do to play Europeans, just to play, not to win anything.
Yeah. But that kind of shows though what can make you who you are, because you've had such a like. You have to keep chasing, you know. Maybe if you were from a different country and you're 50 in the world, you might be getting satisfied, but you've never been satisfied because of, you know, what you've got to chase in front of you, and maybe people behind you as well. So it's a really good motivator as well, I guess.
Of course, like there are ups and downs for sure. Like the big competitions like Olympics or whatever, you just have 2 single places, and this like at this point you wish like you would be in a country with less competition. But also, like you said, the bar is very high because with Timo and Dima and Rossi, the guys, they had results that that were crazy, and then you are aiming for that. Like you're looking at this kind of ceiling. It's a different ceiling than at the. And I think for Chinese, it's
Yeah, oh God.
Yeah, this must be really crazy. It's like, I mean, the level in China, like there's 2 guys in the qualifying here. I mean, they're so strong the level.
Yeah.
They've had to come through qualifying. I mean, it's mind blowing.
Yeah. At the same time, I think it's depressing at some moments because you feel, come on, you achieved already so much, you do so much, but still you didn't make it in which way or ever you're thinking about it. But also at the other point, it's motivating. Like you know you're with them, and it's pulling you up also.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So obviously we're out here at Singapore Smash. You're still in the singles. So who have you got coming up next in your next match?
I play Togami next.
Okay.
In the second round. This will be a tough match.
Tough game for sure. Have you played him before or recently at all?
I played him 2 times.
Yeah.
Okay, first time he killed me in 10 minutes, 0. It was 3 years ago, and I played him last year in the World Cup also with the little bit strange system of the World Cup, and I lost 1-3, but after 1-2 it was already over. But it was actually a tight match and a good match also. But he's great. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's a strong player for sure.
That'll be a good game. And are you enjoying it, these smashes? Are you enjoying it out here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the smashes. It's the biggest tournament WTT is providing for us. Everything is, as I said many times before, it's perfect. Especially in Singapore, the conditions are great for us. The hotel is very nice. The venue is big. You have gym, you have food, you have everything what you need as a sports guy. So we cannot complain.
Yeah.
Just the competition is important. So
that's it. Yeah. Awesome. They even fit a podcast room in for us.
Yeah, they even put this in for us.
Yeah, it's great.
But I think it's actually a good thing because you guys bring like a lot of behind the action, the scenes, like how we prepare or how we are outside of the venue. You just see us normally on the court or doing the interviews, but you're like a little bit behind and you're asking players for the podcast. Yeah. It's a nice thing for sure.
No,
I think people kind of like that as well because you don't get to see, like for example yourself, you maybe don't get a chance to see your personality and just on the court in matches it's difficult, but a little bit more insight into you guys as pro players. I think people are interested out there. It's good.
Sure. You can see it in the comments, right, online. And I think with table tennis, there's such a focus, right, when you're playing out there in the matches. It's hard to kind of, you just got to focus on the match.
Of course,
And that's why it's hard for, I guess, to see much, not say personality or about the person, but table tennis is an intense sport.
Yeah.
It takes so much focus.
Yeah, it's tiring.
What do you do, talking of that? Like, is there certain things you do to, like, take your mind away from table tennis, just switch off, relax? What would it be your go-to things for that?
For me, I think the most important thing is when I don't want to think about table tennis. But for me, it's never have been a problem when I think about table tennis because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like it. I love the sport. And but when I can lie around, watch a series I like or whatever, I feel good.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
What's your favorite series ever?
Oh, this is.
Name a few, 3 or 4.
I'm a big anime fan. Like I watch a lot of this anime stuff. So dozens. I have a list, and I would do no justice to any of this if I say it's my favorite one. And I would also make a lot of enemies. So I better keep that for me.
Fair enough.
Awesome.
Sometimes a good long plane flights are good, aren't they? Because then you can just binge through a load of series.
Exactly. Also, we are traveling a lot, so it's always good to have something to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Well, Dang, I know we said we'll get you around for 20 minutes, so I appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah,
no problem.
Amazing. Thanks so much for your time. Really good insights and great to chat to you.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. I see the YouTube series is growing, and I also liked it. I watched a few videos.
Amazing.
It's good content.
Thanks so much. Have you ever seen the chairman play? You know the chairman?
The chairman.
Yeah,
I saw it.
Yeah, you seen it, yeah?
I don't want to be rude, but he has no hair.
Yes, that's him.
We have this challenge where if a pro can beat him 11-0. So our pro hasn't actually done it yet. I know you have, Tom. So maybe you'll have to give it a go one day.
Yeah, maybe one day we can Dang against the chairman. Yeah.
For me also, like I know the Beast. Like,
the Beast.
Of course, yeah.
He was in Grünwettersbach when I was also there.
Yeah.
And, like he's a funny guy, so of course.
Awesome.
All right, Dang. Well, wish you the best luck here at Singapore Smash.
Thank you.
Yes, good luck.
Yeah. And guys, as always, you can check out the results at WTT in the links in the description. Head over to the website. Also, be sure to subscribe to WTT. And yeah, thanks so much, Dang.
Yeah, don't forget to follow Dang on Instagram and also like and subscribe to TTDCast to check out all the other podcasts with the pro players.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.